Mev Simler is extreme supermorbidly obese. Her life is in danger because of her size, but it's not enough to stop her from overeating.
I am definitely addicted to food. I feel like it's controlling me. I'm scared that if I don't do anything about it, that it's going to beat me. Because I don't want to leave my children without a mother.
And 40-stone Andrew Richardson, who is desperate for weight loss surgery.
Fed up with being fat and being unable to do anything. I'm here today to change my life. Properly, for good. It's going to happen.
Expect graphic scenes of gastric bypass surgery on Fat Doctor. Britain now has one of the highest rates of obesity in the world. Almost a third of British adults are dangerously overweight. In the UK, hospital admissions for weight-related problems have rocketed by 50% in the past 2 years, and obesity now claims the lives of over 1,000 people a week. But for some, no matter how hard they try, they just can't control their addiction to food. In desperation, many of the nation's morbidly obese are turning to this man. Shaw Summers is a bariatric surgeon who shrinks stomachs to the size of an egg in an effort to save people's lives. It's major surgery, with many risks attached, and is a last resort when all else has failed.
Most patients who arrive at the clinic have been through serial dieting. They've lost weight, gained it again, lost weight and gained it again. And they're what I would describe as burned out yo-yo dieters. They just can't face doing it because they know they're going to fail. When patients undergo bariatric surgery, it is like hitting the reset button. They just don't cycle through the yo-yoing anymore, and at last they gain control. And most patients feel utterly relieved when that happens because they know they've broken out of that cycle of despair.
And the results of surgery are often staggering. These are some of Shaw's former patients at their annual reunion.
I've lost 7 stone in 7 months, and it's the best thing ever. It's completely life-changing, and I just wish more people would have it done, especially younger people, because if I could have had this done younger, I would have done.
I can't remember being that size, but obviously I was. I think you try and kid yourself, don't you, sometimes? It's amazing the difference it's made. People just treat me differently. They don't get stared at walking down the street, apart from my obviously good looks now.
It's results like these that have given hope to Sharon and Andrew. But a lifetime of overeating has taken its toll, and their health is deteriorating fast. This house in Chelmsford, Essex, has become a prison for 39-year-old Sharon Mev Simler. Sharon weighs over 40 stone and is bedbound because of her size. With the exception of hospital visits, she has not left her bedroom in almost 10 years.
I feel like I don't have a life at the moment. I just feel I'm just existing. It does get to you being shut in a room all the time, not be able to leave the room. You don't know what's outside anymore. You just get used to it because you just learn to live being shut in my room, and you don't know when it's your day or night because you don't see no light. And most of the time I do have those curtains drawn. I don't really like myself one bit. There's not one part of me that I do like of myself. I mean, people tell me that I'm a nice person, but I don't really believe. I think they're just saying that to be nice.
Sharon is incapable of looking after herself and has to rely on her family for everything. Her mum, Anne, comes every morning to wash her and to help her to the toilet, which is also in her bedroom.
I think she's used to it now. The carers used to do it, and then she'd have all different carers, different faces, like every other day, and that was degrading for her. Some of them would just, just give her dirty looks, how did you ever get this fat? And they couldn't understand it. No one can, not unless you've really been overweight. I don't think anyone else can understand her situation.
Anne used to be overweight herself, so understands exactly how her daughter suffers.
I'm in pain most of the time because I'm always sitting in the same position, and with all my sores and stuff as well, it doesn't help. I just don't like myself for what I've become and how much it's changed me. And I was a happy, bubbly person before, and it's just changed my whole mood. I'm just so angry all the time and depressed, and I just want to be able to get out of that. I just don't like looking into mirrors. I just find it very hard because it just doesn't feel real at times. That how did I let it get this bad, and how did I not notice when the weight was going on?
Even the simple task of being washed exhausts Sharon. She needs oxygen day and night as she struggles to breathe because of the pressure of her weight on her lungs. It's a constant worry to Mum, Anne.
Let's face it, she's not going to live very long in her condition. I'm worried about her dying in her sleep when she has difficulties in breathing. She's constantly on the phone to me. If I don't hear from her, I'm constantly on the phone to her. Sometimes, you know, she cries over the phone to me that she can't go on as she is.
Sharon has a serious addiction to food. She has tried for years to control it, but has continually failed.
I find food as comfort, and I enjoy it at the time of eating it, and then I feel depressed afterwards because I have. It's just like a vicious circle, and I just can't stop. But I feel like it's controlling me. Food is... I tend to turn to food because it's my friend, and at the end of the day, that's what makes me happy. Because I don't have anyone else to fill that gap. It feels I'm alone all the time, being shut in this room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's just, I don't see the outside. It's no life for me.
Sharon uses the internet to order most of her food and gets deliveries throughout the week.
That's one of the substitute items.
Right, okay. I'll hold her.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, that'll be it for now. I'll sort these out. Thank you.
The pleasure Sharon gets from food is stronger than the fear that her addiction is killing her.
Right, this is my stuff for later. My treats that no one else gets to see. My juice, my picnics. My sherbets. My M&Ms. Marshmallows. Like that. And I'm put all this stuff under my cupboard for later. Because I hide them so that no one else can see what I eat. So otherwise, they take it away from me. And they make me feel safe. They make me happy when I'm eating them. So they're for later.
Food to Sharon makes her really happy. Nothing else can make her happy. Not her husband, not her children, not even me. Food.
Lovely. What's that? Chicken? Chicken and rice.
She's addicted to food. It's her friend, it's her comfort, it's everything to her, the food. She'll just scream and shout and, you know, until she gets it. I just say, no, Mum, I've got to have it. You don't understand. I've got to have it.
I use food at times. I just feel like it's a way of keeping myself, I know, to fill that empty space inside me, and as a comfort, and also it just feels it keeps me safe, so there's no one can hurt me.
Sharon is separated from her husband, Michael. They had 4 children together, but Sharon feels her obesity has prevented her from being a proper mum to them.
I feel missed out a lot. The children growing up and not be able to go out with them and stuff, and not be able to take them to school or go to the meetings or when they had their plays at school. And
Sharon tries hard to protect her children from the devastating effect her weight has on her. But as her obesity becomes more and more disabling, she fears that time is running out for her.
I've let it go on too long as it is, and I'm scared that if I don't do anything about it, that it's going to beat me. It's going to be too late, and I want to get back out there for my children, to be able to catch up on the time I've missed with them and to make up that lost time before it is too late, because I don't want to leave my children without a mother.
Sharon has a long history of failed diets and believes that gastric bypass surgery is the only hope she has of being able to lose weight. She's been waiting to get NHS funding for the operation for the past 5 years, and last month was finally given the go-ahead for this potentially life-saving surgery. You are considered obese if you have a body mass index of over 30, and supermorbidly obese if your BMI is over 70. With her BMI a life-threatening 105, Sharon is extreme supermorbidly obese. Bariatric surgeon Shaw Summers will need to run tests on Sharon to make sure her body is strong enough to withstand surgery.
Sharon presents a difficult problem. She's very young. She's got a weight of over 40 stone. She's housebound. She can't mobilise very easily. Technically, is going to be a real challenge to get through the surgery because her breathing is so bad. Having said that, it's her only hope. If we don't do surgery, life is not going to last very much longer for her.
The number of people undergoing weight loss operations on the NHS has risen by more than half in the last 12 months. Over 10,000 people will have bariatric surgery this year, and 40-stone Andrew Richardson is one of them. He's here today at St Richard's Hospital to have a gastric balloon fitted, in the hope it can help him where diets have failed.
Fed up with being fat and being unable to do anything. I'm here today to change my life. Properly, for good. It's going to happen.
At 40 stone, Andrew needs gastric bypass surgery to help him lose at least half his body weight. At the moment, he's not fit enough to be put under general anaesthetic because his weight is placing too much strain on his heart and lungs.
Probably kicking out of bed backwards. Done frontward rolls, but I've never done a backwards roll.
The balloon can be fitted while Andrew is awake and will help reduce his capacity to overeat. It will hopefully help him lose enough weight to make his gastric bypass surgery possible. Dr. Hamish Duncan is part of Shaw Summers' obesity team, and he'll be fitting Andrew's balloon.
He's been deemed to be too high risk to undergo surgery by the anaesthetists and the surgeons, so his risk of dying from going straight to surgery would be too high. And if we can get his weight down, it just makes the whole procedure, surgical procedure, much safer for Andrew, and his chance of surviving much greater.
Andrew is understandably anxious about the procedure and is scared he won't be able to swallow the balloon. Dr. Duncan begins by spraying Andrew's throat with local anaesthetic. A strap is then fitted around Andrew's head with a plastic device to help keep his mouth open. A camera is passed down Andrew's throat in order to examine his stomach.
Okay, camera's going over your tongue now, a little bit uncomfortable. The camera's down now, just take some nice, deep, slow breaths. I'm going to blow in some air so I can see where I'm going. Now, you've actually got quite a long stomach, and normally I put 500 mils of fluid in a balloon. I actually think you'd do better with a bigger balloon. There's a slightly greater risk you'd be vomiting more. I think you'd do with a 700 ml balloon. Okay.
The one you like, is it?
Hopefully, yes. Well, it's the start, because you'll need surgery after this. Do you want to see it before it goes in?
Yeah, go on.
That's it. All right. Just imagine you're gulping down some food. Okay.
Andrew now has to swallow the deflated balloon.
It's in the back of your throat now. Big swallow for me now. If you want to watch on the screen, you can see the balloon in there. You see the little white? That's the balloon. And then we'll just start filling it up in a moment.
Once in the right position, the balloon is inflated with a blue saline solution.
Colours water. And we do that just in case the balloon leaks. And then Mr. Richardson will be able to tell us if the balloon's leaked, because he'll start passing blue stools. That's the balloon sitting nicely at the bottom of the stomach. Have one final look at it? No, you've had enough. Okay.
The balloon will stay in Andrew's stomach for the next 6 months. It should restrict his appetite by making him feel full more quickly and hopefully prevent him from overeating.
Brilliant. You're an absolute star. Well done.
Yeah, I feel fine, actually.
Well done. Very good. I'll come over and see you later. Andrew's a very good patient, actually. Some patients do get quite a lot for this procedure, but he was perfect. But he understood that this was an opportunity to help save his life, and he just needed to get on with it.
Back in Chelmsford, 40-stone Sharon Mev-Simler is waiting for an ambulance to take her to the London Chest Hospital. The results of the medical test she had last month have revealed Sharon has a condition called sleep apnea, where she momentarily stops breathing while she is asleep. This needs to be treated before weight loss surgery can go ahead.
I'm very nervous about when the ambulance comes because I have to make that step of going outside again and having to face everybody sort of staring and that, and it makes me really panicky.
As the paramedics get the stretcher ready, Sharon begins the difficult journey to the front door. This is only the second time Sharon has been out of the house in 2 years. At first, she finds the daylight blinding.
I picked a nice day for it. It's a long time since I've seen the sunshine.
She'll be travelling in a bariatric ambulance, specially designed for obese patients. This stretcher can carry up to 70 stone in weight. A winch is then used to help load the stretcher into the ambulance. And Sharon is finally on her way. The London Chest Clinic is in Bethnal Green, an hour and a half away. It's an emotional journey for Sharon as she reflects on a world she rarely sees.
It feels really great to be out. I just can't wait to come out all together. It's brilliant. Being stuck in my house until in one room, looking at 4 walls all the time, it's just been stuck in prison. It feels like, and coming out, it just feels like coming out into the fresh air and see the sunshine. It's just really lovely. It just makes me realise what I've missed. And I just can't wait to get back out again.
But an hour into the journey, Sharon's becoming increasingly uncomfortable.
Stretcher is very painful because it's not wide enough, and because it's metal and it's painful underneath where I'm laying. But because I know that's the only way I can actually travel, I have to sort of bear the pain.
Sharon will be staying in hospital for a week while doctors monitor the severity of her sleep apnea and how best to treat it.
Coming round to see everybody. Hi.
Dr. Simon Lloyd-Owen is a respiratory consultant, and he'll be treating Sharon.
Sharon's come in so we can start her on a machine at night to help with her breathing. She has a couple of problems when she's asleep. One of them is sleep apnea, which means she has stopping breathing attacks because of the top of her throat blocks off when she's asleep. And also because of her size, her lungs don't expand properly when she sleeps. So she gets a rise in what we call the carbon dioxide level, the gas your lungs get rid of. Let's try with the pressure on them, just as a practice. What the machine does is pushes pressure into her lungs when she breathes in, and as she breathes out, it stops the top of her throat collapsing. And that should make her feel better in the short term. In the long term, it should let her have the operation more safely and hopefully then lose weight and move forward.
Coming up, Andrew gets used to his restricted diet.
I've only had one dream where I wanted a bacon and egg sandwich, but since then I've not missing food whatsoever.
And Sharon has reason to celebrate.
This is the last time I'll be able to eat a birthday cake, so I might as well enjoy it while I can. Oh, that was nice. Happy birthday to Sharon. Happy birthday.
Today's a momentous occasion for 40 stone Sharon Mev-Simler. She's not only celebrating her 40th birthday, but also the fact that her respiratory treatment has been successful and she can now have the gastric bypass surgery she hopes will save her life.
Normally I wouldn't look forward to being 40, but because I've got the future to look forward to because of my op coming up, I feel really happy and positive, and it feels like it's a new beginning. Like they like to say, life begins at 40. Thank you, Mum. I love this.
You can hide your knickknacks in there.
My hidden chocolates.
No, that's not what I meant. She's feeling great today. She's smiling, laughing, joining in conversations, everything.
But as the family enjoyed the barbecue outside, Sharon's left alone to eat her birthday lunch, and the reality of her situation once again strikes home.
When everybody's eating outside, I do feel left out, and it does hurt my feelings when I see everybody be able to enjoy themselves, and I just want to be able to make up for that lost time and join everybody else.
And Sharon remembers only too well the life she's lost. This was Sharon in her late teens, and on her wedding day when she was 20 years old. It was at the start of her marriage that her weight began to pile on.
When I got married, I spent about 100 quid just on chocolates and crisps because I could. And I used to like just binge on a whole load of stuff and not notice calories because I didn't have to. No one was telling me I can't have it.
Mum Anne kept a tight control on Sharon's eating habits when she was a child. Because she struggled with her own weight, she didn't want her daughter to go down the same path.
I wouldn't have believed it if someone said that, you know, she'd gained all that weight after seeing me struggle for years and years, constantly weighing myself and that. I wasn't obsessed, but I just, you know, I didn't want to be fat. And I never wanted her to be, you know, suffer like I did.
At her heaviest, Anne weighed 23 stone. 4 years ago, she paid privately for a gastric band, and since then, she's lost 8 stone. In turn, Sharon now worries about her own children. She recently paid for 15-year-old Emra to have a gastric band fitted, as he was struggling with his weight.
He was going the same way as I was, and he couldn't control it, and I got worried, and I had to do something about it.
I've lost about 2.5 stones since I've had it. I wanted a van because at school I didn't really have much friends because they always made fun of me and stuff. So now I've had it done, I've lost a bit of weight. I've made more friends.
It tells me every day that how grateful he is that I helped him.
Sharon also worries about 16-year-old daughter Paige, but for very different reasons.
She's very slim and she hates to like put on weight, and she worries every day, every time she puts something in her mouth. And that worries me, seeing her like that, and it feels like the damage I've done to them. Because over the years of them seeing me like this, they don't want to become like being overweight. That's why I want to do something about my weight, to be able to change all that and to be there for them.
At 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighing over 40 stone, Andrew Richardson is supermorbidly obese. He's put on 10 stone in the past 10 years and can't control his addiction to food. Andrew needs a gastric bypass operation to help him lose over half his body weight. But he's not well enough at his present size to undergo a general anaesthetic. He recently had a gastric balloon fitted in the hope it will help him lose the 8 stone necessary to make weight loss surgeries safe. 4 days later, and Andrew's back at home getting used to life on a restrictive diet.
Getting on quite well with the balloon. It's sort of here at the moment. It's ever so tender still under the ribs and into the top part of the lower part of the chest cage. I've only had one dream where I wanted a bacon sandwich, but since then I've not missing food whatsoever.
Is Andy super right?
Yeah, soup would be beautiful, Paul, please.
Right, mate.
Andrew's brother Paul is looking after him while he gets used to his balloon. He can't believe the change he's seen in Andrew in such a short space of time.
What? Smells good.
Yeah, mate. He's not interested in food, and he's looking forward to the yoghurt and the bowl of tomato soup, and that's not the Andy that I used to know.
My diet at its worst was pizzas, Chinese takeaways, Indian takeaways, just terrible foods, all fatty foods, bacon sandwiches, bacon and egg sandwiches, daily trips to burger vans. Food always used to make me feel comforted. I always felt guilty afterwards. Some nights I used to cry myself to sleep because I knew I shouldn't be doing it, but I couldn't do anything about it. My taste buds have come back. I seem to taste food a lot better now than I used to. Before I would have probably just woofed it straight back and not even tasted what the food was.
Are you feeling full up then?
Yeah, I do feel full up.
So that virtually that can of tomato soup's finished you off then?
Yeah, I don't like to admit it yet though. It has though, yeah.
Paul worries constantly about the effect Andrew's weight has on him.
From getting up in the morning, he can't get up himself. He has carers come in, help him get dressed, washed, cleaned. From me having to come in and do his cooking, I take him driving, I have to take him to the doctors. He can't get about on his own, can't walk very far. So most things have been affected by his weight. It does break my heart seeing him the way he is.
Paul takes Andrew out every day, but they choose isolated spots, away from the public eye.
Being big is difficult. It's not like you can just get up and go swimming because people always look and stare, and you can't go to a football match because the seats aren't big enough for you to get in and sit down. So you tend to just sit at home all the time. Yeah, I'd like to be accepted wherever I go without anyone pointing a finger or sniggering or laughing. I've even fallen over in the town centre and looked round and people have been stood laughing and no one's come to help or anything. and I've had to crawl to the side to pick myself up. You know, silly things like that, and I'm sure if I was a small person, everyone would have rushed towards me and helped. So you get depressed a lot about it. Sick.
Makes you feel sick. And that's what stops you, end up stopping going out then, don't you? You think, well, if I don't go out, then you haven't got to face all the realities of what's going on in the outside world.
Then you get stuck in a catch situation where you don't do the exercise, you eat from home and you get bored and you put more weight on. It just becomes a vicious circle. You become victimised, I suppose, in a way, for being big.
Just people in general, so they think it's our own fault for being the size we are, and it's not always the case.
It's not just Andrew who suffers because of his size. At 32 stone, brother Paul also struggles to control his weight.
Always been big, family's been big, and I had a nasty turn a few years ago and I had leukaemia and spent 11 and a half months in total isolation. And when I come out, I'd blown up in size and lost all my energy. And then after that, I had 2 heart attacks. And I slowly piled the weight on, and it's very hard now to turn it around and lose it. But now with Andy and his balloon inside, I think we've got a chance to battle it out between us.
Yeah, it does anger me that he can't get surgery. But they seem to just push him away. I used to be at the same doctor's surgery as him, and I ended up having to leave because I knew I wasn't getting anywhere with them. And he's still there, still trying to fight it, and he's still not getting anywhere. And his health's just getting worse. So it does worry me. I do feel protective over him, even though he won't let me in as close as what I've let him get to me. But that's only because he's my big brother.
I'm not getting this to my brain wired against all the doctors. It's very hard. I want to get my brother sorted first, and then I'm going to try and sort myself out. Get him on the road to recovery. And then it's my turn. And we will win.
Andrew is determined to make his balloon work for him. He's lost half a stone in the past 4 days and is desperate to lose another 7 stone in the next 6 months. At St Richard's Hospital in Chichester, it's finally the day of 40-stone Sharon Mevsimler's operation, and the whole family have turned up to offer support. And most of them know just how Sharon's feeling.
It's great to have my family here, and it's because they've all been through it, so they know what it's like. And Mum's had lap band done, and she's lost quite a bit of weight.
I was 23 stones, I'm 14 stones now, so I've lost about 9 stones. And Darren over there.
I've lost 11 stones, now I weigh 20 stones. I was 31 stones, 5 pounds. I had a gastric band fitted, like my mother.
And also my brother over there.
I was only 16 stone, but I've lost 4 stones. I'm down to like a sensible weight now, and it keeps my eating under control now.
Bariatric surgeon Shaw Summers will be performing Sharon's operation, and he's here to run through the procedure with her one last time.
Morning, Sharon. How are you?
All right.
Nice to see you here.
Yeah.
You've been bedded in nicely.
Yeah, I have.
Good.
Yeah.
So today's your day. You all set?
Yeah, it's finally here. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just take a seat. Hiya. You're Sharon's family. You'll come to support her on. What I'm planning to do today is to help change things for you.
Yeah.
You're going to have gastric bypass surgery for weight loss. We've mentioned the risks, things like bleeding, leakage from the joints, internal injury, heart or lung problems. My job is to minimise that with my team. We'll look after you the best we can.
Okay.
If there's bleeding, you might need a blood transfusion. And very occasionally, if there's a problem, we may need to do further surgery, but it's rare. My job today, Sharon, is to do that as safely as possible for you, okay?
Right.
My number one priority is to get you through this, and get you through this unscathed.
Okay.
If I think the keyhole is going to be difficult, or it's going to be more risk than it's worth, I'll make a small cut and I'll do it that way.
Okay.
At the end of the day, my priority is to get you through this safely, and if I think a cut is going to be safer, that's what I'll do.
Right.
From your point of view, it will make not a lot of difference.
Right. So how long will it roughly take?
I think the whole thing, start to finish, for me, will take about 1.5 hours to 2 hours.
Right.
But if you're happy to trust me to do the best I can, that's
Yeah.
what I'll do for you.
Yeah, my life is in your hands.
Thank you. Well, I won't misplace that trust. And I think you know as well as I do that really we've got to do this, or life is as it's going to be for you, and that's not a good place. I think every year that passes is a lucky year for Sharon. I think that her chances of seeing the next 10 years through are less than 50-50, because at her sort of weight, she might get through if nothing untoward happens, but if she gets a bad cold and gets a chest infection, or gets a blood clot in one of her legs, or has another illness unrelated to her weight and her body will just not be able to support that illness, and it will kill her.
At just 5 foot 2 inches tall and weighing 40 stone, Sharon is extreme supermorbidly obese.
Just need to bottom up there,
Although the operation carries significant risk for her, without it, she's unlikely to survive the next 5 years.
Sharon's body mass index is 106, and that's probably one of the biggest in the UK, if not the biggest. Using the body mass index, we can combine the height and the weight in a way that gives us a number that tells us how round someone is, basically. And for Sharon, because she's so short, her size is of a degree that gives her a body mass index that's almost off the scale. It's not the biggest patient or the heaviest patient we've dealt with, but for her height, she is the most round patient we've dealt with.
As Shaw prepares to start the operation, the depth of Sharon's unhappiness about her weight becomes clear.
What you can see, she's got lots of these little lines across her, and she has been so distraught and distressed by her situation that she's resorted to deliberate self-harm. And it's a cry for help, really, that she's just so upset and distressed by her predicament that she's resorted to harming herself to gain attention, to try and gain help. And it's not unusual that patients who are so big are in a state of absolute distress and despair at the fact they can't get out of this trap. And it's a true addiction. It's a true medical problem. This is not just a cosmetic thing. OK, to start.
Shaw hopes to perform a keyhole gastric bypass as it's less intrusive than open surgery and will help Sharon recover more quickly from her operation.
I'm just going to put the telescope in now just to check and see if keyhole is going to be possible. And looking around, actually, as I suspected, there's a small girl inside trying to get out. Her organs are all in the right place. They're not covered by too much fat. She has a fatty liver because of the metabolic disorders that come with being so big. But actually, aside from that, everything else looks straightforward, so fingers crossed.
Shaw makes 5 small incisions in order to create the operating ports. He then puts the instruments through these ports and into Sharon's abdomen.
OK, well, the first thing I need to do is to find Sharon's small intestine, and there it is, underneath the omentum. Her intestine inside is the size of a small girl's intestine. It's not extra big.
The omentum is the fatty layer that protects the small intestine. Shaw makes a window through the omentum in order to set to work on the gastric bypass.
So what I have to do now is find the start of Sharon's small intestine so that I can work out where to do my bypass. I'm going to do a fairly long bypass for Sharon so that she gets the full effect of feeling a lack of appetite and an aversion to sweet foods. It will also help her have an element of malabsorption in order that she just loses weight whether she likes it or not, because whilst I can fiddle with the mechanical and the physical side of her eating, there will be an element of the fact that this is such a shock to the system, she will almost inevitably try and rebel against it. And so I need to build in a number of mechanisms to my surgery that help combat her sort of addiction to eating.
Before he reduces the size of Sharon's stomach, Shaw has to bypass about 1 metre of her small intestine. This will reduce both Sharon's appetite and the amount of calories that her body can absorb. This bypass surgery will also ensure she eats the right food in future. Eat the wrong stuff and her body will reject it.
I've just finished the first phase of Sharon's operation, and what I've done is I've created what we call the Roux-en-Y loop, which will go up to Sharon's little stomach pouch. And this part here is the join, the little Y bit that allows the food coming down this way to carry on down towards her large intestine, and all the secretions from her stomach that doesn't see food anymore to join up with it through this staple line there. So that's the Y bit of the Roux-en-Y, and that's going to be posted back there. What I've now got to do is just thread this underneath the colon. She's got a slightly unusual setup in here. Her large intestine is sitting much lower than normal, and it means I've got to reroute the small bowel in a way that's non-standard. So I now pull that up, and that will pull my loop up towards me, and that's what I want, for it to come through there. So normally we'd bring it over the front of the intestine there, but for Sharon I have to bring it around the back because of the fact that her intestine is just too low, and it would make it too much under a stretch. Okay.
With the bypass of the small intestine completed, Shaw now has to create a much smaller stomach for Sharon.
What I'm planning to do now is to take Sharon's stomach from its natural size, which when it's got food in it is about the size of a melon, and change it to about the size of an average egg. Now that will reduce her ability to eat a full meal, so she'll feel full and tighter much quicker. But also it will change the way her stomach feels about food, and her appetite will be very much less. Another 60, thank you. Right, so that's the stomach cut. As you can see in here, the majority of the stomach's down here, this big pink organ. There it is, that's all stomach, and what she's left with is this little nub in here, and that's her little stomach pouch.
Finally, Shaw joins the bypassed small intestine to the new stomach pouch. After 2 hours, the operation is complete.
Pleased we managed to do it with keyhole surgery, because that means her recovery will be a little more straightforward. She'll find her breathing more easy. Let's hope that does the trick for her and she really does make the best of it. Nice big deep breath.
Dr. Hill starts to wake Sharon up so she can be taken to recovery. But will this operation be the answer to Sharon's prayers and cure her addiction to food? At 40 stone, Andrew Richardson is supermorbidly obese, and his health is failing rapidly. He desperately needs a gastric bypass operation to help him lose over 20 stone of excess fat. But he is not well enough at his present weight to undergo a general anaesthetic. To help him lose the 8 stone necessary to make his weight loss surgery safe, Andrew had a gastric balloon fitted to help stop him overeating.
Hop on the scales.
I'll take my shoes off first, like I always do.
It's now 3 months on, and Andrew has come to the obesity clinic today to be weighed for the first time.
Okay, I'll just give the results to Dr. Duncan.
Andrew's brother Paul is waiting anxiously for him outside the hospital.
He's really frightened today with getting on the scales. He didn't sleep very well last night and he's been panicking. But I hope he's done really well today.
At 32 stone, Paul also suffers because of his size. His weight ballooned after he developed leukemia, and since he's been in remission from the illness, he's also had 2 heart attacks. But unlike Andrew, he can't get funding for weight loss surgery on the NHS.
I don't think I can go much longer without help. I will end up bedridden or housebound, and I don't want to go that far. I want to be helped before that. My health's not good. I've constant pains in my chest. I can't walk far, can't do steps anymore. I can't go out anywhere. Can't do anything, can't sleep properly. It's a constant battle, and it's very hard. I'm pleased for what he's been through, but I'm also jealous. I wish it was me in his situation. Maybe after Andy's had all his operations and everything done, I might be able to try and approach my doctors and tell them that he's leading a better life and he's a lot fitter and healthier. Then they might see from all of that it would benefit me as well.
Andrew Richardson, please.
Dr. Hamish Duncan fitted Andrew's gastric balloon, and he's ready to see him to give him the results of his weigh-in.
How's it been for you?
It's been very good. It's been completely different because I've had to totally change my diet and my drinking. I don't drink fizzy drinks, so I'm not getting as gassy as I used to or feeling bloated as I used to. My walking's a lot better. My breathing's a lot better. Just altogether feel a different person already.
When you first came, before we put the balloon in, you weighed 40 stone and 8 pounds, and today you've just been weighed and you weigh 34 stone, 7 pounds. So you've lost 6 stone, 1 pound in just over 3 months.
Brilliant.
Which is excellent. Well done.
Lovely. Well chuffed.
I think the key factor is you've been motivated to lose the weight because you realise that this is a life-saving opportunity for you.
Last chance, isn't it?
It is.
Andrew now needs to lose another 2 stone before it's safe for him to undergo gastric bypass surgery. But at last he feels he's finally on the path to good health.
It's given me a lot more optimism now. I've lost this bit of weight, and Dr. Hamish Duncan's told me that I'm well within the weight limit now to be able to have the surgery, the main surgery done. So I'm really pleased with that now. So just spurred me on a little bit more to lose some more weight, which is what I need.
Weighing in at 40 stone, Sharon Mevsimler was extreme supermorbidly obese. Her addiction to food had left her a prisoner in her own home. Diets had failed, and gastric bypass surgery was her last chance to lose the weight that was slowly killing her. It's been just 2 months since Sharon's operation, and already the change to her life is dramatic. She's lost a staggering 8 stone so far, and is out playing with her children for the first time in almost 10 years.
That's great. That's my exercise of the day. It just feels brilliant, because every summer has gone by, I just stared from the window and I couldn't go out there. Having my kids in the pool swimming with me, and it's like they've never ever remembered me being slim, and they're so happy like seeing the weight coming off and be able to be in the pool with them. And I just want to stay in there all the time, because it's like feeling having water over me. It just feels brilliant. I just love swimming so much.
Mum Anne is amazed at the change she's seen in her daughter.
I'm really proud of her. I mean, for the past 6-7 years, all we've seen her is just in that bed and not moving around at all. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a shock right now.
That's fantastic.
Makes me happy to see her smiling. Now she's got her down days, of course. Hopefully more good days than bad now.
It hasn't been an easy journey for Sharon, and she still has a long way to go. She can no longer use food as a comfort, and she's finding it a difficult hurdle to overcome.
I used to use food all the time as a way to make me happy, because that's the only thing that did make me happy at the time. And now I don't have that, so I've got to learn all over again on how to sort of cope without the food side of it. It's like being reborn, really. It's like learning everything all over again, and how to eat and how to control portion sizes. But it's something you sort of got to cope with, because it's better to be healthy and to be slim, so it's worth it in the long run.
But despite her struggle, Sharon encourages the children to still eat in front of her.
Enjoy your water.
Sometimes they have to ask me, is it okay, Mum, to eat like in front of you? I said, no, I don't mind, because now I've got used to it, and I know I would prefer this lifestyle any day than to be stuck in bed all the time.
Sharon still has an enormous amount of weight to lose, and she's aware she'll soon need further operations.
The flab is sort of getting looser and it gets heavier as I walk, but I know that was going to happen, and it's worth going through that, and to be able to later on to have all that removed as well, and to be able to get into normal clothes and to be able to shop in normal shops, and I just can't wait. This is how I can tell I've lost 8 stones, because of my nightdress, because I've got room on both sides of my nightdress, and it's like I never imagined this would happen, and that's how I can tell I've lost a lot of weight, because this is what I used to live in all the time when I was my most, so it's got so baggy, and that's how it could fit another person nearly, and that feels brilliant. Having the operation, I think it's the best thing I've ever done, and I don't have no regrets at all. It's worth it in the long run. It's all worth it.